start a little bit later. The agenda today next is to go through our updates. We wanted to give you some very important updates, and then we would like to share resources and our communication procedures for helping, and then we want to really hear what your needs are so that we can jump on those. So Jill, do you want to start with updates?
Sure. So from the town perspective, I wanted to give you an update on where we are and some critical things, which the first of which is access. Access to the town has been, all hard and soft closures have been lifted, with the exception of the Sagamore area. That area is still under investigation and obviously was the most widely devastated area. So if you are not allowed back in your home at this time, reach out to me. I believe that we should be able to provide access for anyone, unless you were in the Sagamore area, to get at least access to your house. Whether or not it's habitable and you can stay there is a different story. But if you need access and you haven't been able to do so, please reach out to me. We'll put our information in the chat so you can reach us. And I'll put my cell phone number so you can reach me directly. So everyone should be able to be back assessing the damages. I'm happy to hear that contractors have already been out and doing assessments. Barbara mentioned her roof had already been inspected. That's great to hear. That was one of our biggest concerns, was there's so much volume to deal with that we were concerned that we weren't going to be able to have the number of contractors necessary to be able to move this along swiftly. So that's really good to hear. The next, Dina, can you put the agenda up? The next item that I was going to talk about, I believe, is water. Water. So water has not been restored yet to any facility or building or home in the community yet in terms of safe drinking water. So we still have a fire boil in effect, and please take that very seriously. The water samples that we believe are safe have been sent to the state of Colorado, who has to do the ultimate testing and final approval for us to be able to turn safe water back onto the homes and commercial properties within the town. We anticipate having the go-ahead tomorrow, Friday, the 7th of January. But as you can imagine, all of this is a moving target and we're doing the best we can. So that's the goal. So we're hoping that you can have those services restored and take a shower this weekend sometime. I know that's been a struggle. Comcast is more than 90% restored throughout the town. If you do not have Comcast and or you do not have service at this time, please let me know. We're working both with Comcast and with CenturyLink to be able to restore service to the town in every area. So if you still have an outage, please let me know. It's our understanding that Comcast service has been restored at over 90%. So again, I am going to put my contact information into the chat, and you are welcome to reach out to me for any issue in particular. And I'm on the disaster recovery team for the town. So we are taking, every request very seriously, and we will get you connected to the right resources that will help you answer your questions. And I'll let Dina tell you about the current resources that are available for business recovery efforts. Unless there were any questions. Are there any questions about the updates I just provided? Okay, go ahead, Dina.
Very good. There are several resources out there. You've probably been inundated with what's happening and what availability for resources. There's so many web pages out there. There's so much going on. And I wanted to make sure that we just share with you today our kind of a quick resources that are trustworthy and are being updated regularly. So that's the one thing that I wanted to share with you. So I'm going to share my screen in total, and I'm just going to read. For those of you just on the telephone, I will make sure to tell you what we're looking at. So the Disaster Relief Center is open, and you may already all know about it and have visited. Jill and I both visited there and went to speak specifically with the Small Business Administration and the Small Business Development Center. And I wanted to just let you know that, and to confirm that the Small Business Administration is offering loans at this time. Two things about that. The first thing is there will be other funding opportunities down the road as we get through recovery that are going to be more than just loans. So at this time, however, the only thing that we know about for financial recovery for businesses are loans. And the SBA is—
Can I also interrupt? The SBA loans also can be for residents. So that, and because you're a home-based business and you have both aspects, they offer the business side, but they also offer a resident side. So it's worth checking into.
And they wanted me to encourage people to go through the loan process and get a secured loan, even if you decide not to use it. Because 6 months down the road, when you may actually need to use it, you'll have it in place now. So they're very helpful. You could go to the Disaster Relief Center. They said it would take about 45 minutes to an hour to fill out an application. If you had all the documentation needed, they will help you sit there and help you fill out the application. The documents needed are, there's a list of things you have to prepare. For example, you have to have past tax returns. The Small Business Development Center that's also at the Disaster Relief Center can help you get those documents. So for example, if you can't access your federal tax return, they will help you figure out how to do that. If you don't know how to do a profit and loss statement or other financial statements that might be required to be in the loan packet, that's what the SBDC is there at the Disaster Center to help you do. So you may want to start at the Small Business Development Center to see what they can help you with, then move on to the SBA loan representatives that are at the Disaster Relief Center.
And can I interrupt again? I'm sorry. We're tag teaming this, so bear with us. I'm putting links in the chat to all of this information that you're speaking about.
Great. And let me just do a quick check and see if anyone else has tried to log in real quick. Okay, we're good for now. So that's about the loans and financial resources available now. Does anyone have any questions at this time about an SBA loan or the Small Business Development Center? Yes, Barbara.
I know that you said the loans were low interest. Do we know what the interest rate is? Is it the same as it was during COVID?
It's quite low. It's we have a PDF document that we can share after this meeting that they gave us about the loans, and I don't have it right in front of me, but Jill,
I do. I have it right here. I'll put it in the chat.
Okay,
Thank you, Jill.
Under 2% up to 3.5%. It depends on what your annual income is, I believe. It's not based on credit. It's based on the income for your company. Other SBA questions? At this time anyway. I wanted to also say the Small Business Development Center, which is out of Boulder. The chamber had been planning, and Jill, we've been planning to start partnering with them to offer business skills training classes and connecting people in Superior and the chamber membership with that Small Business Development Center. So we have a lot more resources with them to share other than just this disaster relief. So just keep an eye out on that. Later in this recovery, we'll be offering some connection to that SBDC Center in Boulder.
And Dina, let me answer the question about the rates. I pulled this up and I'll share this document in the chat. So the business loans are a low of 2.83%. and could be as high as 5.66%, and that's for high net worth people. So if you have financial means, the rate would get higher. So the more need that you have, the lower the rate. They also offer home loans, and that rate, the low is 1.438 and could be up to 2.875. So very competitive loan rates and really low. Something to be noted is if you are interested in looking into these disaster loans, the application filing deadline for physical damage is March 1st of 2022. And the application filing deadline for economic injury, which means like how it's impacted your business and long-term impacts that have been, you know, aside from just the physical home, those economic injury filing deadlines are September 30th. Those are currently what's printed, but those may change based on the needs. So that's what we have right now. And I'll put these two documents in the chat for your reference.
Yes, and we can also email you these documents too at the end as a closeout.
Follow up, yeah.
Other questions about SBA or SBDC? Okay, next I'm going to move on to unemployment insurance. So there is an emergency order for people impacted by not being able to work to file emergency unemployment, and you can do so at the Disaster Relief Center. One thing to note is this is for any sole proprietor, a 1099 employee, or W-2 employee. So as the business owner, you're also eligible to do this. And they recommend you do it as quickly as possible because it could, I believe, Jill, is it 4 weeks to process? Do you remember hearing that?
I don't.
Okay. Probably best to just check in with them on their processing time. One thing I wanted to say here, though, is if unfortunately your identity had been stolen through COVID and someone filed for unemployment in your name through this COVID pandemic, there might be some issues with you filing right now for unemployment, but they are there to help you through this process at the Disaster Relief Center. So that's just one thing to note that you can share with others as well. Questions? Yeah, Barbara.
I looked last night in the town links that they sent out in the email yesterday, which was a wonderful email, and thank you for doing that. I looked at the unemployment, and to me, it looked like it won't start, like you can't start claiming lost wages till January 8th, which doesn't make sense to me. That, I mean, do you have to, and maybe that's, I don't know, because I've been self-employed for so many years. Is that how traditional unemployment works? You have to be out of a job for 2 weeks before you can start claiming lost wages?
I believe that's how it works. Yes.
So you can't really claim.
Go back. I think they would retro back.
Okay.
To the time.
Can I claim my lost wages from last Thursday and going forward?
I believe so.
Okay.
Yep.
Thank you.
But we are actually going to have some resources on site in Superior, and we were going to talk about this at the end later in the next couple of weeks, and we'll let you know, and you'll be able to go in there and ask questions and file claims and fill out applications. So it'll be at the community center, and you would be able to get your questions answered by the experts who know the nuances of all of this.
Great. Any other unemployment insurance questions? Okay, next we're going to go on to other resources, and I wanted to show you the town's webpage that they have put together. So this is the first page, the main page for the town. So if you're on this page, you would click down in the bottom right. It's called Marshall Fire Updates. And they have a lot of information here so that you can just kind of go through. Most websites right now are kind of doing a lot of emergency management stuff and where to take donations and things like that. But I think the town website is really quite comprehensive. So please take a look through it and see what might be useful for you. If there's anything that you feel like is missing, please let us know and we'll see if we can get information for you. The next resource is the Northwest Chamber Alliance. It's all of the chambers in Boulder County have a group called the Northwest Chamber Alliance. And we quickly put this resource page together, and we're trying to focus on businesses and the workforce. So when you go to this page, you can click on either the button for your business or the button for your workforce. We also have a page for people who want to offer support, because so many people want to donate right now. And then we have some general resources on this website, which includes all the cities websites that were impacted, Louisville and Superior. I even believe Broomfield is on there. And then also some other general resources. So take a look through this website as well. I'm going to click on the For the Business section, and we can just quickly breeze this. It is a kind of boring looking list, but nonetheless, it's very useful information. We have a needs survey that's out there that you can take as many times as you want over the next few weeks to months, because your needs are going to change as the recovery moves forward. So you can see that survey on this webpage and take it, and it'll go directly to us so we can hear immediately what your needs are as they change. There's financial resources, the Disaster Assistance Center, more information about the unemployment insurance is on this webpage, and restaurant disaster guide, a lot of different resources. So check out that page when you have a moment, just to see what resources the Chamber Alliance has put together for you.
Can I make a few more comments? So here you'll see the Take the Business Needs survey. If you haven't done that already, if you could please do that. It's very quick and easy. We just like to track who is needing assistance. So that will be very helpful for us. Again, Dina mentioned you could take it as many times as you need over the next coming months, but please, if you could today, and Dina, maybe put a link in the chat, or I can do that in a second. The other thing there right above that is restaurant offerings. And we have a number of restaurants that have partnered with us that will offer free meals to those who have been impacted. So I know several of you on this call are displaced, and even if you haven't been displaced, these restaurants want to help you, and they will offer you breakfast, lunch, and dinner, and just want to be of support. So please consult that list and utilize those resources. We know that at this time you have so many other challenges ahead of you. Make sure that you're taking care of yourself and let these restaurants help you.
And just to tag on that, I have been working to get food trucks around town. Unfortunately, both my food trucks canceled today due to the weather, but until our restaurants and grocery stores are up and running, the Chamber will be putting food trucks around town. And as soon as they'll let me put food trucks downtown and into Original Town, I'll be doing that. So I am hopefully going to be doing that this weekend. So that's also just a quick note about food. And those are for free meals that we are sponsoring. The last resource I want to show you just is the Chamber website. We have just some links to all these other pages. We have the link to the Disaster Center. We have the link to the Chamber Alliance page, and we have a link to the Boulder Office of Emergency Management. So again, there's lots of places for you to go to find information, and don't ever hesitate to email or call Jill or I if you're looking for something and it's not on any of our websites.
And I already put a link in the chat for the SBDC, but Dina, can you pull that page up too?
Oh, yes.
SBDC is really a support for businesses. If you have questions about, any aspect of your business that you need support in right now, they can help you. They have a team of consultants that work in every aspect of business operations, from marketing to social media to financing to understanding your own financial tools to operations. So anything that you are struggling with, the SBDC can pair you up with a consultant, and this service is free.
Okay, let me share that screen. I think I got it up.
Do you want me to put the link in the chat?
I think I got that. Here we go.
Okay.
So this is the Colorado SBDC Small Business Development Center Wildlife Recovery webpage.
And there's a link in the chat for that as well.
Very good. Next, so internet and computer access. Jill, do you want to go over this or?
Yes. So if you need internet or computer access right now and you are not able to get consistent or regular service of what you need, you can go to two different places that we have partnered with. The closest is the Broomfield Workforce Center. I'll put the address in the chat. They have computers and internet, but it is a shared space. So it's, if you just need to get in and send some emails and look up some information on the internet, that would be a good place for you to go. The second is a co-working space in Erie. They have graciously offered up this space to us. It is the local co-working space that they have in Old Town called Gather Workspace, and they will offer free office space to you. So if you need a place to go to work, to have some sense of normalcy and be able to have some quiet, they will offer you free space for as long as you need, in terms of, having an opportunity to get yourself and your business back on track. So I will put both the information for the Workforce Center and the information for the Gather Workspace, as well as the Gather Workspace Facebook post, that you can see what their offer is.
And we're collecting this information and going to be distributing a list on by eBlast and social media over the next day or two, and just keeping that list updated. We're asking the area hotels that are nearby that did not close, if people can come and stay, in the lobby for a couple hours at a time to work. So we already have one secured in Longmont. I know that's a bit far, but we are going to have this list together in the next day or two. So keep an eye out for that for workspace resources.
And we are trying to put together a simple one-pager with resources so that we can share this with you and it won't be so haphazard. So we anticipate having something a little more concise and easy to understand to send out next week.
And then the last thing we have on our agenda before we want to hear from you is just to tell you that the town of Superior and the Superior Chamber of Commerce both have newsletters that you can sign up for if you haven't already, to get information. And I, at the Chamber, am using Facebook for the most part for my communications out to the community. And so if you could keep an eye on the town and the Chamber's Facebook pages, sometimes the information is the same. We're just trying to share as much as we have. And then the e-newsletters are really an important source as well. So that's how we are planning to communicate over the next few weeks to months through recovery, to try to get as much information out as possible. And again, the Northwest Chamber Alliance has a website and SBDC has a website. So websites are also the other communication channel we have. Are there any questions about communication or any ideas on how you're able to get information? I know the internet has been very, very unreliable. Any thoughts on ways that we could communicate better with you?
This is Daryl. Are you?
Yes, we can. Hear you.
Okay. So I just wanted to say that a lot of original town residents are older and don't have computers and don't have access to Facebook. And I would encourage the town of Superior to mail them things. And I'm collecting addresses of residents that were displaced and where they are. The post office is holding our mail and suggesting we pick up our mail a couple times a week. But I know that tons of people are on Facebook and electronic communications, but a good portion of residents in Superior are not, and they need this information desperately. The other thing I wanted to say is my husband's business, Aerial IT Services, is gathering computers. So if you know of anybody that needs a computer, he's working on getting computers and getting that out to folks as well. So those are just a couple of thoughts and resources too.
Carol, can you put a contact information in the chat for those computers, or can you just tell me verbally if you're on your phone? I can put that.
Yeah, sorry.
That's okay. Is there an email or a phone number?
Well, you can just email me, and I'll sort of Daryl@damcool.com, and I can connect up people to the list that we've already got 5 or 6 people that need computers, and so yeah, we're just adding to that daily.
Okay, great. Thank you so much.
Yeah.
Great. Other ideas to share about communication or resources? Okay, let's move on to just listening to you and thinking of, we want to hear from you, ideas that you have. How can we help? How can the town help? What are your needs as you see them today? You can raise your hand or just start chatting if you want. Any thoughts? Anyone want to share maybe what your biggest challenge is right now that maybe we could help you problem solve?
And even if you just want to vent, we're here. We are happy to listen to you. We really want this to be, helpful to you. So whatever you need to share, please feel free.
Another thought would be, would it be helpful for us to have another one of these meetings next week? We plan to do one for all businesses next week, but we could certainly do another home-based business one in about a week to see how things are going for you.
This is Mark Gutman. I don't want to speak for everyone on the call, but I can say for me, someone else had already mentioned it, just the sheer fact of like worrying about my income and my business in the midst of also worrying about my family and my home. And we're displaced. I don't know where I'm going to be living next week. I don't know how long this is going to go on. My emotions have ranged from I'm going to be back in my home tomorrow to I'm not going to be back in my home for 6 months. So I think it's incredibly scary. I think there's a lot of pressure on all of us who make our income, whether or not you're home-based or normal business in Superior. I'm self-employed, and I just keep thinking, man, I wish I would have taken a job at Google 6 months ago so I could have the space and the peace of mind and the guaranteed income. And it's just incredibly difficult, and I feel really up against it. So that's what's going on, and this has definitely been a helpful start. I haven't even considered things like unemployment or anything like that, but it also is extremely overwhelming just getting through the day, trying to get my house back, which seems like it's going to be months, not days. So that's kind of where I'm at.
Yeah, and that's why we're going to try to get some of these resources on site in Superior. I know the Disaster Relief Center is a good place for everything in one spot, but we really feel like to make it easier on you, we can bring resources in. You can sit down with them. They will literally help you fill out applications. It is overwhelming. I understand that. And we want to try to offer as much support as possible. So look forward to some details in the coming weeks of dates and times that these resources will be on site in Superior. And you can just go in there and let them know that you don't know where to start, or that you could just use some help with the process, and they'll be happy to do that.
I'll just say that from a community perspective, I've been overwhelmed at the positive response from the residents of this community, and the government, as well as XL Energy. Even Comcast has come to the table and done things quickly. I've never experienced anything quite like this, but the response to this has been extremely overwhelming in a positive sense, but also.
You're muted by accident. There you go.
It's been, it has been, I just want to thank you guys and everybody in the residents and the town, because it has been an absolutely awesome coordinated effort that I think has been very impressive. So I think we have more support in a lot of ways than most people could use. And clearly the ones that lost everything, they need unlimited support. But for people like me that were just displaced, it's been overwhelming on the response by you guys. So thank you.
Thank you.
Speaking of resources and just the support, is there a way that we can help to channel resources to you? We have so many people offering to support those that have been impacted. And again, we encourage you to take advantage of the restaurants that will give free meals, the food trucks that will be on site. But we also have a lot of resources that are wanting to give gift cards and help with long-term housing solutions, toiletries, clothing. So if you have a need for that, please feel free to reach out to us or encourage those that you hear of to reach out to us, and we'll try to pair you with some of the vast resources that are coming in that just we have so much, it's hard to even manage, but we can easily pair you with people that could assist if there's a need.
This is Daryl. I think that the amazing resources that are available right now is just overwhelming, as you said. For me personally, I'm thinking long term. I mean, we're going to be out for at least a year, if not longer, and it's helping sort of spread out the resources so that they continue to come in. Might be something you guys could think about, how to do that. And yeah, that's just a thought I have for the moment, because it's completely amazing and overwhelming and hard to manage, and hard to know what we need today versus tomorrow versus a year or 2 years from now. So again, appreciate all the help and all the support, and just trying to brainstorm how to make it better for everybody.
Yes, if you wouldn't mind, everyone on the call, if you can put your name in the chat, your email, your phone number, and let us know if you've been displaced, what level, if you are currently back in your home, if you're temporarily displaced, or if you're permanently displaced. We're really trying to do a good job of collecting contact information. So that would be very helpful if you can put that in the chat before we sign off today.
And I do have everyone's registration. So if you can't reach the chat because you're on the telephone or something, we still have your contact info.
It doesn't include their phone number though, does it, Dina?
Say that again?
It doesn't include their phone number though, does it?
I'll double check as we're talking. Great.
Yeah, I think it just includes their email. So if we could get your phone number, that would be great. And then if we could also find out your level of displacement, that would be helpful as well.
Okay. Sarah?
Oh, I just wanted to share a piece of information I got when I was at the assistance center yesterday. And I'm sure many of you guys already know this, but they also said that if we don't know what's going to happen as far as with the cause of the fire, but if it happens to be that it was caused by someone, that we should also get assistance from like the victims. I can't remember the exact name, but it's basically like a victims fund, because if it is shown that it was a crime, that we will also be eligible for additional funds because of that. So had anybody heard that?
No.
I haven't heard that yet, but I will ask our team because that's the first I've heard. So
It's like Colorado Victims Assistance or something like that. So I have it written on one of the many papers I've been lugging around. So I'll find that as well. But obviously, I mean, that could take some time, I'm sure, before we find that out. But that's something to keep in mind for the future if additional funds are needed to help people out.
Very good, thank you. Barbara, do you have a moment? Do you want to share anything? Oops, you're on mute.
So I'm worried that my home's not safe. We're in it 24/7. I have a daughter that needs full handicap accessibility and cannot live independently. And I'm trying to get work done. And like, I'm sorry I had to take that call. That was the mitigation company. I can't wait for them to call me back 2 days from now. You know, I'm on a list. You've got to stay on that list. And so those are my concerns. My concerns that I know my house isn't safe. We're all coughing. I'm concerned that I can't work. And, you know, how do we pull our lives back together? And I appreciate all the resources, and I'm going to go file for emergency unemployment and see how that goes. And I wanted to say too, at 1755 South Boulder Road in Lafayette at the Disaster Relief Center, you can get home COVID test kits too. They give you 2 per person in your household. So if you go over there to get stuff, make sure you get your home COVID test. Okay. So, because we have that on top of the fire. Don't forget, it's still there.
Yeah.
So thank you, ladies, and thank you for everyone that came.
Thank you. A quick note about the Disaster Relief Center that I didn't say is there's more resources there than just the SBDC and SBA as well. There are a lot of tables, a lot of people ready to help in a lot of different areas. I even saw a big stack of dog food bags. So there's a lot there. You should go if you haven't yet. And if you need help getting there, certainly reach out. We can figure out how to get you a resource for that. All right, any last minute thoughts anyone wants to share?
Just for the long term, we really want to kind of create a group of home-based business sharing opportunities, networking opportunities, and we really are trying to identify ways that we can support home-based businesses in the future. I know it may be too early to have this conversation, but initially what we would think is we could have, you know, on-site gatherings, you know, once a month or once a quarter for you to be able to access resources or share information. But we're really trying to understand how we can best support your businesses for the long term as well. And we also want people to know about your businesses. So if there's a way that we can help promote your businesses when you're ready to be able to get back to working, we want to help people know how to reach you. So that's kind of the longer term view, and we are definitely here. So if you have any ideas about that, please feel free to share that with us, as we'll be trying to put together a long-term plan to support our home-based businesses. And our hearts go out to all of you. We understand that this has been an incredibly difficult time, especially being impacted from both sides as a homeowner or resident and a business owner. So, we're here to help. And if you identify any ways that we can do so going forward, you know that our door is always open. And I'll let Dina close us out.
Thank you, Jill, and thanks everyone for joining us today. We will share this information. I saved the chat and I recorded this, so we will put this on our website to share with others who couldn't make it today. And again, reach out to Jill or I if you have thoughts on more resources or something that would be helpful for you as you move through trying to restart your business and restart your lives. So at the chamber, the board of directors wants to share their heartfelt thoughts to you as business owners, and many of you are members of the chamber. So we really appreciate what you're going through and are here to help. So that's what the chamber is here to do, and please don't hesitate to contact us. So thank you, everybody, and we will be back in touch. We'll have an all business meeting similar to this next week, and we'll send you the resources by email to close out this meeting today. So thank you for joining us.
Thank you. Stay strong.